Good morning, everyone. In this week's Torah portion, Judah stands up after his brother Benjamin was accused of stealing the royal goblet from the viceroy of Egypt. And he begins an impassionate plea to the viceroy. And he says to him, we have an elderly father, and he only had 2 sons from his wife Rachel, and 1 son was lost to him. And this is his only surviving son, and our elderly father could not bear to tolerate losing his beloved son Benjamin. And then he goes on to say, I took responsibility. Avdecha Rav Tanar, I took responsibility for this lad to bring him home to his father safe and sound. And therefore he says, allow me to remain a slave instead of Benjamin, and let Benjamin go with his brothers back to his father. At this point, Joseph breaks down crying, and he says, I am Joseph. Is my father still alive? And the brothers are finally reunited with Joseph, and ultimately Jacob is reunited with his beloved son Joseph. And our rabbis point to the fact that Judah says the famous words, Avdecha Rav Tanar, I took responsibility, and therefore let me stay in his place and let him go home. And here we learn the concept of arvut, mutual responsibility. As we know, the rabbis teach us, Kol Yisrael Arevim Zolazeh, all Jews are responsible for one another. And as a Jew, we're called Yehudim after Judah, because Judah personifies this idea of taking responsibility, and not just verbal responsibility, but an action saying, yes, I will stay in his place, let him go home. And when Joseph sees that this same brother, Judah, who recommended throwing him into the pit, and then said, let's sell him for profit, and began his journey of being sold into slavery and then ultimately thrown into prison, then now this same Judah has transformed himself and is now willing to say, I'll take responsibility. That's when he knew he wanted to be reunited with his brothers. And this is the message for all time, that to be a Jew, Yehudah, means to care about one another and to stand up to defend each other, the way Judah stood up to defend Benjamin, and even putting yourself on the line, the way Judah said, I'll stay in his place. That's the ultimate expression of Yehudah, of Jewish pride and responsibility for one another, the hallmark of the Jewish community and the Jewish nation, that wherever a Jew is in trouble anywhere in the world, we rise up to defend, to protect, to care for one another. There's a story told about this father who was once honored at a dinner at an organization called OHEL for special needs children. And he related the following story. He said his wife and himself had a child with special needs, with Down syndrome. And of course they loved their child. The child's name was Shaya. And one day when Shaya was 9 years old, they were walking by a park and they saw a group of kids his age playing baseball. And Shaya said, Daddy, I really want to play baseball with them. His father knew he couldn't play baseball, so he said, we got to go home. Mommy made dinner. We got to get home to eat. But he was insistent. So the father said, I told my son, we'll go into the bleachers. We'll watch them play. But as he watched the kids play, he started to beg his father, please, I want to play with them. Well, the father had no choice. He went down to the baseball field. He said, look, my son, there he is. They looked at him. They realized he had special needs. He had Down syndrome. He really wants to play baseball. Is there any way he could join you? And the kids, group of religious kids, said, of course, let him come join us. And they took him down there and they gave him a mitt. And Shaya went into the outfield and he was so proud on a baseball team for the first time. And then his team went up to bat. And it was Shaya's turn to go to bat. And his father says how the pitcher moved in closely and gently tossed the ball towards Shaya, but he swung and he missed, clumsily, to the best of his ability. And so the pitcher came close, and again he swung and missed. And finally the pitcher came so close that he barely tapped the ball. And when he tapped the ball, everyone started to yell, Shaya, go to first. And he described his son running with all his strength to first base. And the pitcher picked up the ball, and he threw it to the first baseman, but he threw it deliberately way over the head of the first baseman. And the first baseman ran after the ball, and everyone said, Shaya, go to second. Everyone was yelling, Shaya, go to second. And then the first baseman got the ball and he threw it way over the head of the second baseman. Everyone said, Shaya, go to third. And then the second baseman threw it way over the head of the third baseman. And finally everyone was yelling, Shaya, go home, Shaya, go home. And finally Shaya came home. And everyone started to chant, Shaya, home run, Shaya, home run. And all the teams, both of them, lifted up Shaya and their shoulders and were dancing around the field, Shaya, home run. And his father said, I never saw my son so happy. He was beaming ear to ear, such pure joy that I never experienced. And he said at that moment they understood something. He said, our whole life we wondered, why did God give him this disability? What is his purpose in this world? What can he accomplish? But when I saw what happened on that baseball field, I realized that maybe Shaya's purpose in this world is to make others better, more compassionate, more loving, to make this world a kinder place through his pure goodness and kindness and joy that he draws out of everyone with his love. And that's the idea of mutual responsibility that Judah teaches us. We have to love each other, care about each other, defend each other, protect each other. And when we do, we're worthy of the name Yehudah, the name of the Jewish people. Have a wonderful day.